Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we are talking about visa exemption stamps. For those who are unaware, visa exemption is basically the stamp that you get on arrival in Thailand if your country has some sort of reciprocal arrangement with Thailand that allows you to be in the country notwithstanding the fact you don't have a visa. So for example, those with an American passport, they come to Thailand, they're stamped in for 30 days. That's the 30-day Thai visa exemption. As we've discussed in other videos, now Russians, for example, can enter Thailand and they get a visa exemption of 90 days. Again, understand this is a visa exemption. It is not a visa itself. That said, I thought of making this video after I received a recent email from a viewer quoting directly, "Currently, I visit Thailand a few times a year during the 30-day visa-free tourist stay for U.S. citizens. I was under the impression that one could use this 30-day visa-free stay up to 6 times in one calendar year if one entered via an international airport. But I just read that the visa-free 30-day entries are limited to twice a year. Is this true?" Yeah, I've done the videos on this many, many times. We actually did the video when the royal decree was promulgated. Yeah, the baseline, again, none of this is guaranteed. People think that, okay, I'm only allowed X amount, but I'm definitely allowed 2 entries. No, immigration has unfettered discretion to let in anybody or not, as and when they deem appropriate. That said, there are guidelines, there are regulations. They have been, again, promulgated by the royal decree some years back. I think this is going back 6, 7 years ago that they did this, where they officially came out and said, hey, it's 2 entries per year in visa exempt status. That's what we will definitely allow. Now, again, if you're deemed sort of a threat to national security or you have some kind of like prior criminal conviction or something of this nature, then you may not even be allowed to enter at all. But that said, 2 is the baseline. I don't know where people have gotten this, and I do understand it's not a misconception per se. It's just sort of a practical rule of thumb that where people say, oh, you can enter 6 times a year if you're using an airport or whatever. Well, that's not a rule. That's just sort of common practice, I guess you could look at it like that. You know, again, I've done a video on this where I did a video where he said getting away with it doesn't make something legal. In this case, you know, just because something's allowed, for example, 6 times a year, somebody came and went from Thailand using a visa exemption, you know, okay, if immigration let you in and they deemed it appropriate to admit you, then you sort of got away with it, for lack of a better term. But as discussed in other videos, yeah, the minimum sort of allowable, although that's not even really the right word, again, it's sort of like a rule of thumb, is definitely 2 entries per year. You're not going to really need to be worried about having to deal with any flack at Thai immigration. You get up over that, and I would say the rule of thumb is expect possibly some extra scrutiny. Again, though, presuming that there's 6 times if I use an airport, no, that's just what you got away with. That's just how it works. It's not any type of rule out there. There's no regulation that says 6 times at an airport, 2 times elsewhere. At the end of the day, the promulgated rule that we know of is definitely you get 2 entries per year in visa exemption status. Again, if you don't have any other problems that are deemed to be a ground of inadmissibility to Thailand. Again, if you don't have that, then I think you can sort of bank on being able to enter twice per year. But I don't think it's prudent to presume that you can do, you know, again, well, because I came through an airport, I get more entries. That's not the way it works.